What's up, guys? We got to talk, and today we are talking about telling stories. This is a big skill, and you need this skill. So don't sleep on it. Practice it. It's not that hard. It is applicable to like everything. Okay, it'll make you better at sales. It'll make you have a better relationship with a woman. Your friends, you all click and bond together. Your social circle will grow. It'll help you build your brand. You need to be able to tell stories. It's that important. All right, who doesn't like a good story? You've got to be a Scrooge to hate stories. And speaking of Scrooge, that's a rememberable story right there. And you know what? It's very simple. Okay, Scrooge hated Christmas. Got a change of heart at the end. And the thing is, like, we always like simple stories. Jack and the Beanstalk. Simple story. You get a handful of them beans. Throw them down, you get a damn beanstalk. And at the top of the beanstalk, there's a huge giant that can smell your blood. It can smell you. And there's a golden egg. There's a goose that lays golden eggs. And there's a giant that guards the eggs. That's highly rememberable. But it's very simple. All right? Stuff like the Grinch who stole Christmas. What's a good story? A lot of them. Peter Pan, you know? A guy that never wants to grow up, goes to Neverland. Pinocchio. All of these stories that we remember. They're not too burdened by details and nuance and just a bunch of, junk. It's forgettable. We don't really remember too many facts. If I just riff off facts, that's why one of these reasons I try to use stories on this channel is because that's how we remember. If I riff off facts, you're going to be like, Herb Derby, that sounds good. And then, you forget it the next day. You don't even apply it. So I've realized that using metaphor, speaking in parables, speaking with stories helps not only you guys remember, it helps me remember. That's what Jesus did. That's what, the Buddha did. He spoke with stories. The parable, doing this. There's always meaning inside of the story. They were the original applications, the original way for us to share meaning with other people. Okay, to form trust, to have meaning amongst the entire tribe. I mean, if you think about that, do not sleep on telling stories. So a couple of tips. Again, make them very simple. Don't weigh them down with too many details. The second thing is to actually look at storytelling as a wave. Surfing a wave. I actually read this in a book on storytelling. To tell a good story, you need to imagine yourself on a surfboard. And the story is the wave. And so you have these peaks and these valleys. You have these highs and the lows. The tidal wave that comes crashing in. And then you have the smooth sea. And what you want to do is you want to bring your audience and the person listening on a journey with you. They want to surf the wave with you. And so the way that you get them to feel, to actually know and take them on a journey is to convey and help them experience emotion. Because we've all heard of people who are like, oh man, I'm going to tell you a story. And then they tell the story and they're like, never mind, you had to be there. You just had to be there. And it's because you're not getting your point across. You're not actually getting them to come along with you on the journey. So surf the wave. When something happens, be enthusiastic. Here's an instance. The other day, I shared a story about how my dad used to spank me. And I did not start out like this. My dad used to spank me. And it hurt. And I wanted it to stop. No one's going to listen to that story. And the way that I remember is not like that. So what I said is, my dad used to beat the shit out of us. And it was a paddle. It was like 16 inches long. It was 2 inches thick, hard plywood. And this thing had insignias. It looked like a damn sword. Like, that's terrifying. For a kid, that's terrifying to get hit with. That's more relatable. And so a lot of guys, they'll speak in monotone and their story never gets through. You never build rapport. You never get an audience that wants to listen to what you have to say. Use some details. Ride the wave. Up and down just like that. Very important. It works. Just take my word and try it. It works. And this third thing is that every story has a desire. Okay? A desire, and then it has a conflict. It has something that is to be overcome. something that gets in the way of progression. It gets in the way of the transformation process. A story is all about transformation, getting from point A to point B, becoming something new, laying down the old you, let it burn, and then becoming something greater. Okay? And there's always conflict. There's always something that has to show up and you have to overcome. So if you have desire and conflict, then you have a good story. You have your beginning of a plot. And that's all you got to do. Desire and conflict, guys. All right, it's going to help you so much. I was thinking, man, how do I make this video so that they really want to take storytelling serious? And I just was like, okay, well, everyone has their own story. It doesn't have to be some bedtime story or just some made up story that you got to tell people. Tell people your story, the moments in your life, something that really hurt you, that got you into depression, something that you overcame, a insurmountable barrier that you broke through, okay, a wall that you climbed and you made it into a new place, or just some great time, and let people be there, man. Take them on the journey with you, and you'll be the man. That's one of the ways of lighting up a room, being a charismatic leader. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you got any good stories down below. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.